free use most of the time, so.
Your what?
Free use most of the time, like if we were in a committed relationship.
Every guy who just fucking saw that looked exactly like that other girl. Yeah, eyes wide, fucking just jaw slacked. Yeah. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, did you know that the most haunted Fort Knox in America has absolutely zero gold in it? Yeah, adjust your brain for a second, because we aren't talking about the heavily guarded vault in Kentucky where the government hides its shiny metal rocks. We're talking about Fort Knox in Prospect, Maine. A massive imposing chunk of granite sitting right on the river. It has miles of pitch black wet underground tunnels, and it's reportedly crawling with spirits because the military built a giant defensive masterpiece and then forgot to actually have a war there. Back in the day, America and Great Britain, they had a lot of unresolved issues. So during the American Revolution and the War of 1812, the British Navy cruised right up the fucking river and gave Maine a hard time. So by 1844, the US government finally decided it was time to lock the river down once and for all. They spent decades carving out masterfully constructed granite, building complex underground passageways, and setting up massive cannon mounts designed to fire red-hot cannonballs into enemy ships. It was a masterpiece of military engineering. The punchline? Well, it never saw a single fucking second of active combat. Because the government spent a fortune on this granite beast, they couldn't just leave the doors unlocked. So enter Ordnance Sergeant Leopold Heggie. So from 1887 to 1900, he was the sole living caretaker of Fort Knox. His entire existence was walking the dark, damp tunnels, opening the massive doors in the morning and locking them at night. In July 1900, he passed away shortly after being found ill in his quarters. Apparently, nobody gave Leopold his retirement paperwork, though, because visitors and rangers swear he's still doing his daily rounds. People walking through the tunnels routinely report loud, heavy military boot footsteps echoing on the granite when nobody is there, the distinct sudden smell of old pipe tobacco floating through damp, unventilated rooms, and a man wearing a long 19th century duster coat patrolling the grounds after hours before vanishing. If you venture down into a section of the tunnels known as the Two-Step Alley, you run into the fort's resident legend, a spirit known as Mike. According to local lore, Mike was a worker or a soldier who allegedly ignored all safety protocols involving a powder keg. So while the details are kind of debated, the story goes that he learned the hard way that black powder and fire don't mix. As if the phantom soldier wasn't enough, the fort also features stories of a little girl named Elizabeth, who some suggest actually lived on the land before the military even laid the foundations in 1844. Tourists frequently report hearing the faint, chilling sound of a child in the corridors. It turns out when you build a giant, inescapable maze out of conductive granite, set it right next to moving water, and leave it empty for a century, you basically build a giant battery for history to linger in. If you ever are in the mid-coast Maine area, you can actually pay a few dollars to go on fucking official ghost tours or even stay overnight. Now you know.